Hello class, so this is where we are covering our lesson for today. So we have worked on Zoom for the past 2 days coming up with our newspaper article. So remember, you are a newspaper writer for the Journal Gazette in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We grew up here and we are so proud of our city. But lately, there are a lot of people who are not being good citizens. They've been throwing trash in our rivers and all over our parks. And we don't like that. And so we think the best way to change that and to make people think about how their actions affect our community is to write a newspaper article. So we wrote that yesterday. So what you need in front of you right now for your assignment are the following things. So you need your introduction and details paper that we wrote on Tuesday. So it should look like this. And you also need your reasons and conclusion paper that we wrote yesterday. So you need these. You need a pencil with an eraser. If you don't have a pencil, a pen works, but I would prefer you have a pencil so you can erase any mistakes, okay? And then the last thing you need is another piece of paper or a notebook. So another piece of paper or a whole notebook. I'm using a notebook, okay? So I want you to pause this video right now and get all of those items. So we need our introduction and details page, our reasons and conclusion page, a notebook or a piece of paper, and a pencil. Okay, so pause this video and go grab those things. Okay, hopefully you pause the video and you grab those things for us so that we are ready to work. So I'm going to move my pages just off to the side a little bit because I will need them in front of me for this, but they might have to be off to the side a little bit. If you wrote your introduction, details, reason, and conclusion on the iPad, then you can have, once you log off or once you're done watching this video, you will have to use those pages, okay? But you will write your newspaper article on the separate piece of paper. So right now I have my extra piece of paper right in front of me. So the first thing we need to have for our newspaper article, is a title. Remember, so a title tells us what we're going to read about. So I want you to brainstorm right now what a good title might be. We're talking about being good citizens, not littering, how our actions affect our community. So I want you to come up with your own title. I'm going to write a title, but I want you to come up with your own, okay? So my newspaper title is going to be Our Community. And I know I told you to use a pencil. I'm using a pen just because it shows up better in the video, so that way you guys can really see what I'm doing, okay? But you should be using a pencil. So Our Community is my title. And right underneath my title, I'm going to write the words by, BY, with two little dots. That's what we call a colon. And then I'm going to write my name. So I will write Miss Tinsley. You will write your name, okay? So I have my title and I have my name. So the next thing I'm going to do before I start writing our newspaper article, and the nice thing is we're just going to take what we wrote on our pages from the past 2 days and we're going to put it right on this paper, okay? So we don't even need to change anything. We're just copying down what we've written. But we also need to have pictures. So you should have at least 2 pictures for your newspaper article. So our kids in class actually had a newspaper layout, but I wanted you to be able to write this on a piece of paper. So ours is going to look a little different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 2 boxes. So that way I don't have my words take up the whole page and I have no room for pictures, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a big square, a big box right here. Notice how it's just taking up one corner of my page though, right? It's not taking up this whole page. It's not taking up half of my page. It's taking up a little space. And then I'm going to draw a second box down here. So this helps me to know where my words should go and where they should not go, right? So these are pictures. So I have to write my words around the pictures, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is write my introduction. And you don't need to write the word introduction. We're just writing the bulk of what we wrote. So we're writing our introduction sentence. So I'm going to write down, and you're going to do this after the video, okay? I'm showing you our layout. So I'm going to start on this line. So the problem is that, oh, and look at that. I've run out of room, right? Because now I have my picture box. So what should I do? Should I keep writing? No, right? Because that's where my picture goes. So once I hit that box, I'm actually going to move to the next line. I am going to skip a line just so you can see my words better. You do not need to, but you do need to be using your best second grade handwriting, right? I should be able to read your words. So the problem is that people in Fort Wayne, there's my box, so I'm going to the next line, are not being good. Oh, I put a period a little bit too early. Good citizens. And that's where my period goes. So notice I have a capital letter, I have a period, all of my words are spaced out. So there's my introduction. Now I'm going to write my details, and I'm going to write them following that sentence. They are, and I notice my box is still here, so I'm going to my next line, throwing trash in the rivers and at the park. Period. And notice how I don't have a picture box down here, so I'm writing all the way down the line. So now we need to add the rest of our details. I have down the words we could put trash cans, and I have my paper right next to me, right? So I'm copying straight from my paper from Tuesday. We could put trash cans near the parks and rivers. Period. So that was the end of our first paper, introduction and details. So I'm going to put that off to the side, and now I'm using my reasons and conclusion paper. So we just finished our details. Now we need to write our reasons. So why should we clean up our park? Why does that matter, right? So our next sentence is cleaning up the parks and rivers will make us proud to live in Fort Wayne. So that was our first detail. Our second detail, because this was one you guys mentioned a lot, so I thought it was important that we put this in our newspaper article. It can help keep, oh, but what should I do now? I have my picture box coming up, so I still can use this line, but then I'll have to switch, right? So it can help keep animals safe. Period. So that was the end of our details. Now we need to write our conclusion. So remember, you don't need to be writing this with me right now. I am showing you an example, and then you will do this after you watch this video, okay? So I'm giving you a layout that you should follow, and this is exactly what yours will look like. Same paragraph, same words, okay? So let's go to our conclusion. Our conclusion was our actions. I'm going to go to my next line because I don't have a ton of room for my last word. Our actions affect everyone in the community. There we go. Period. And our last sentence that we're going out with a bang, right? We're saying this is important. Let's keep the earth, and I'm going to hop down to my next line. Let's keep the earth clean. Now I'm putting an exclamation point. Okay? Let's keep the earth clean. So now I've written my entire newspaper article, right? This looks like our Journal Gazette. Now we need to add pictures, okay? So these aren't just random pictures of anything we want to draw, right? These are pictures that go along with our article. So we've been talking about littering and about keeping our earth clean. So I'm going to draw two pictures. I'm going to draw one of the problem. So the problem is that people are throwing trash in the rivers. So I'm going to pause this video really quick and draw my picture, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back with my first picture. So like I said, for my first picture, I wanted to draw the problem, what we're dealing with, and why this is important, right? So my picture, I drew trash in our river. So I have a soda can, I have a mask, because that's been a problem too, is people throwing their masks in rivers. And that's trash, right? So we have a mask, and this is a plastic bag. So I drew trash in our river. Then I'm going to go down to my second picture box, and I'm going to draw a picture about how we can solve our problem, or even about our conclusion, okay? For my second picture, I drew a picture of our earth. Look how it's clean, it's blue and green, and we have people up here. If the people were a little bigger, I would have drawn smiley faces on them. So you can draw a picture about our concluding statement, about how our actions affect everyone, and how we should keep the earth clean, or you could draw a picture of our solution. But you should have two pictures that represent our article. So something that shows what the problem is, and something that shows what the solution is, okay? So now that we are about to log off of our video, you need to make sure that you have a title, your name, two picture boxes. Remember how I drew my pictures first? Because if I drew my words first, I wouldn't have room for my picture. So you draw your pictures and then you write your sentences. So it's just what we did on Zoom the other day, okay?